And I got to go as a 22-year-old, and I paid to have access to this community of gym owners. And they were all going around talking about what was going good and what was going wrong in the business. And when it got to me, I was like, well, okay, so I want to open a location, and this is kind of what I was thinking about my model, and this is what I was thinking about price points. And they were like, wrong, wrong. Here's why that's not going to work. Here's how that's not going to work. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, this is where I was going to buy equipment. They're like, don't buy there. That's retail. You can get it from secondhand over here, and it's literally a tenth of the price. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Okay, great. I
Mm.
was like, well, I was thinking about getting this type of thing. They're like, no, girls will eat shit on that and they'll fall. Like, I've had two girls do it. Don't worry about it. Like, you're not going to use it. But you can get sandbags. You can use them all the time, and they're super cheap. And if you have to replace them, you can. But you can use them for like hundreds of exercises. And I was like, great, I'll do that. And then I was like, okay, so I was thinking about this kind of square footage for my facility. They're like, dude, you don't need all that. You can cut that in half. And I was like, okay, we'll cut that in half. And I was like, I'm willing to pay $2 a foot. And they were like, no, never go over 150. And I was like, okay, never go over 150. And so like in a matter of a day, I got to take like all of the knowledge of all of these guys of the mistakes that they'd all made with their gyms. And I started my first gym just on their backs. And so how much was that worth to me? Years. And so for me, I have always been willing to pay in whatever currency was required to get knowledge that I don't know.
Can you get that now for free?
Yes, it didn't exist then. YouTube wasn't even a thing. Instagram had just come out. Like for context, for everybody who's listening to this, I think about this equation a lot, and I actually had some video of somebody shitting on me for this, but I'm going to say it anyways because there's the 20%
Don't
that are going
dilute
to say it.
yourself.
That's right. I'm not going to dilute myself. So I saw a salesman say this at a conference, and he wrote $1 million on a whiteboard, and he called up a lady in the audience, and he said, "How much do you make?" And she said, $50,000 a year. And so he wrote $50,000 underneath of the million, and he subtracted it, and it said $950,000. He said it costs you $950,000 every single year. You don't know how to make $1 million a year. And so the question is, what is the value of that skill? And the answer is the difference. And so the troll who responded to this originally was like, well, you can keep going. What about $100 million a year or $1 billion a year? And I was like, yes. Yes. If you had the skill of making $1 billion a year, then the difference between 50,000 and a billion is the delta of the value of that skill. And it's really not one skill. It's many skills that ladder up to when combined together to create that kind of value. But I remember that being like seared into my memory, which is like whatever I want to have, the delta between where I'm at and where that thing is what basically what I'm willing to sacrifice in order to learn what I need to learn to get there. And I think that if people appraised that delta not by the money in their wallet or the time that they currently have, but how much they would be making or how much time they would have and how much that's worth to them, then I think far more people would be willing to invest in their education. And it's such a taboo word because people hate the word education. It's like, oh, it's like work. But like, you want to be an entrepreneur, like, you got to learn. There's so much stuff to learn.
Parrots versus practitioners. This is an idea that I've thought about a lot over
Okay.
the years because I look at someone like you and I
Yeah.
can tell based on everything you say today that you are a practitioner. Um, in this analogy, what I call a parrot is